Gurgling water, ship's propeller, and water-filled car bodies. Unusual for a classic car, but not for the VW Type 166, amphibious vehicle. Where other cars are pushed to the limits, with the amphibious vehicle, the fun really begins. Classic car workshop on the commuter belt in the affluent suburbs of Munich, Germany. On the forecourt, spare parts and rusty restoration objects stand together in unity. Some of the classics are waiting here for their resurrection. Pitt Lur, owner and sole employee of a small but quality body company that restores classic Volkswagens and other classic cars. The Type 166 is one of his very special passions. There was not much left at all of his own amphibious vehicle before the reconstruction.
The vehicle was an archaeological find. This means I got the lower 30 centimeters. The vehicle was lying on its head in the ground, so that the upper part was completely rusted away to about here. There was nothing else left. The shift lever was rusted away. Only a short stump stuck out there. The front axle of the vehicle was usable. The ravages of time had eaten up the rest.
The trained master coach builder collected spare parts for 4 years and worked through relevant literature and worked on reconstruction of the former military vehicle. In the last 5 decades, the reputation of the SUV has changed completely, from a maligned, ugly duckling into a sought-after and coveted classic on the scene. Amphibious vehicle owners like Pitt, technology contemporaries, are enthusiastic about the now 70-year-old concept.
The amphibious vehicle has four-wheel drive, so it's off-road capable and is able to come out of the water well. This is a special feature. The vehicle is extremely terrain capable and with the additional climbing gear, extremely climbing capable. If you drive up a mountain, the vehicle doesn't limit the climbing ability, but rather the driver's courage.
The main Danube Canal in Bavaria's Altmühltal. The soothing waters are an ideal playground for amphibious vehicle owners. After the waters, the engine is stopped, the drive propeller left in the water, and the oldie turns into a motorboat for comfortable water interlude. The engine-driven propeller speeds the doorless amphibian up to 10 kilometers per hour or 5.4 knots respectively. There are owners who have loyally kept their amphibious vehicles for over 40 years.
In 1971, I bought my first amphibious vehicle in Bad Ischgl, at Lake Wolfgang in Austria. but it wasn't really good. A year later, I got this one here. It came from the Czech Republic. A friend of mine brought it over, and since then I've been driving it. I have also restored it twice already.
Fans of the Type 166 like to test their four-wheel treasures, extensive water rides included. The operation in water, however, is as easy as child's play.
You have to really just steer and accelerate. It steers with the front wheels, and the rear has no rudder. With a little bit of practice, you can turn on a very tight radius.
If you want to use an amphibious vehicle as intended, a normal car driving license is not sufficient.
We can only swim where there's shipping. We're not allowed to go into other waters. For this, we need a boat license so that we are familiar with the water rules and road signs.
When the amphibious vehicle comes out of the water, the propeller is disconnected and folded up from the drive. As soon as the driver shifts into gear ashore, the engine puts the drive back onto the wheels.
Basically, the body is sealed against water penetration, so that when we move forwards in the water, we have a propeller drive that we fold down during the water ride. When this is folded down, this grips into a claw coupling device and thus generates propulsion. We can place the hold rod outside, the propeller drive down in the water, which snaps into place and is driven directly by the engine.
The engine is a simple air-cooled VW unit, like was also driven in the first Beetles. Technically, the Type 166 is based on the KDF wagon from Volkswagen, the first Beetle, a development from Ferdinand Porsche. The four-cylinder Boxer delivers 24.5 horsepower, the maximum speed 80 kilometers an hour on land, and in water about 10 kilometers an hour. Porsche's engineers developed the Type 166 at the beginning of the 40s for one purpose only: the war effort of the German armed forces. The technical unit is supposed to help the madmen of the Third Reich to realize their plans. Professor Porsche, who is not interested in politics but who likes technical challenges, designed an amphibious vehicle and a four-wheel drive. Comfort is not in the specifications of armed force vehicles, of which 14,000 units were built to replace motorcycle sidecars in the Army. The amphibious vehicle is cheaper to produce and can carry more load and is off-road capable. Today there are still around 100 mobile and floatable models that are known of, but how many lie in submerged bomb craters or at the bottom of a lake waiting for their revival is not known. Today's amphibious vehicle owners from around the world have long since been organized in clubs such as the DISG.
We have members in Japan who are also at current events, like at Pentecost in Wesenberg, here in Germany. For us, we ultimately aim to help out in case of vehicle restorations and parts procurement, just as a club is supposed to do.
A restored copy is largely unproblematic thanks to Volkswagen technology. Should parts no longer be available, the club encourages a reproduction, and so that models are not relegated to be only standing witnesses. But it's long ceased to be possible to get the all-rounder at a cheap price. A well-kept model quickly realizes a six-figure sum. Even scrap still costs a lot of money. The unique driving and swimming fun that the Type 166 offers today repays us, however. For what other classics can you enjoy bathing with?
The VW Type 166, the all-rounder among the classics with all-wheel drive, on land and water.